Contingency log number 64, codename Spoon. For the normal civilian, the idea that a villain could be around any corner, or that the world could be at threat of total annihilation. When they are unsure if they'll live to see tomorrow, it's possible that for many of them, the thought may cross their mind, that no matter how many may rise to risk their lives to keep them safe, the world doesn't quite have enough heroes. In some cases, the act of vigilantism is frowned upon, if not just outright illegal. Some people would rather their heroes be well regulated. In many universes, this was attempted, and in some cases this attempt fell apart, likely due to the nearsighted views of those in charge. But in other cases, this did manage to succeed, and their entire society is based off of it. Fortunately for the Tick, this was the case for him. Within Reno, Nevada, the Tick would enter the National Super Institute and partake in the tryouts to become a registered superhero. Once he'd pass his tryouts, he'd be assigned to a place simply known as the City. There he would meet an accountant known as Arthur, whom he'd make his sidekick by the name of Mothman. Something to note is both seemed to constantly be in costume. Even Arthur was wearing his, before officially becoming a sidekick. Far be it for me to decide when others should remove their costumes, but I at least hope they wash theirs. Their choice of attire, however, is neither here or there, as it's the man behind the suit that's more important. While I've yet to discover his surname, I at least know that the Tick's real name is Mark, and his notable ability is being virtually Seems our connection blacked out for a second there. I'll need to look into that later. Anyway, the Tick has proven to be able to take any and every form of punishment that can be dealt to him, and in some cases damage that he had brought on to himself. He survived being crushed by a giant human-turned dinosaur, survived being shot out of a cannon at triple the explosive power. He'd even withstood being struck with the force needed to launch him into Earth's orbit. And before you ask, yes, he did indeed survive a fall from space. Red Hood has commented that this has happened enough that I could start a club. Something about having the next meeting next fall, but... Oh, I get it now. Now, while it's good to be able to withstand a lot of damage, the Tick isn't just an immovable wall. While he may not be the strongest in his universe, he is still strong enough to put him as a cut above the rest. The best example being when he battled Proto-Clown, the one who'd struck him into space initially. In the time he'd spent in orbit, the rest of the heroes of the city were left to combat the clown without him, but none were capable of stopping him, being on the back foot until the Tick would make his return and defeat the clown. Before I get to the contingency, I feel like I must bring this up. By now you've gathered that the Tick would fall under the category of a gag character. Things like his personality and actions typically being the aspects that befall a hero turned up for comedic effect. People will watch these heroes make silly quips and laugh when they get hurt in absurd ways. It's things like these that would likely cause people to dismiss a hero like this, and in truth, sometimes even I've been hard on them. But that doesn't change that they still don their costumes and face challenges every day. Doesn't change that they fight for what's right, nor change that they want to be viewed as a beacon of hope for those who cannot fend for themselves. And the Tick is no different. His methods may be odd, but his heart is in the right place. Just by being who he is, he'd managed to make good friends and fight alongside legally distinct heroes. He is a light in a world of too much darkness, and it would be a shame if he'd ever turn to the dark side. To counter the Tick, I'd need to avoid direct confrontation, while I'm sure I could create a suit capable of matching him physically. Given his ability to bounce back from any damage, he'd likely wear me out over time. If I want to effectively subdue him, it'll have to be through a battle of wit. You see, while his body may be developed, his mind is not as much. For the most part, Mothman is the brains of the group. As such, keeping him away from the Tick would be a high priority. While I doubt he'd turn evil along the Tick on his own, he is a loyal sidekick, and I could see him interfering if it means keeping the Tick from getting hurt. The tick seems to suffer from a few debilitating mental shortcomings, possibly undiagnosed ADHD, as he is easily distracted. It's even stated by his own mind that he has not been using it for some time, stating that he'd gotten distracted by a shiny object. Though even reconnecting with it didn't seem to change much. My current working theory is to possibly overstimulate his mind, with any hope it could cause him to burn out and be rendered unconscious. He's also shown no resistance to mind control, something I have already begun to take advantage of. Unlike other heroes, the tick sleeps on a sofa in his sidekick's apartment. There is no security to speak of, making it easy to sneak in during the dead of night. With techniques I've learned in my own travels, I've managed to place several triggers into the tick's mind, ones that will be triggered with very specific code phrases. One is designed to knock him out completely, but the other is a backup should the first be removed somehow. It'll cause him to see everything around him as his worst fear. Working an office job, I can't speak for myself, but I'm sure that fear is a lot more common nowadays. If you've reached this far, I'd like to give a special thanks to the YouTube channel UbiTunes, who was the only source I could find to watch the tick on. I'll link their channel in the comments. If you also have a character you wish for me to cover, or just want to support this channel, I'll have a link to my Ko-fi page. There will also be a Google Doc with the list of characters who have ever been done or already commissioned by others.